Well, let's see here. I might not be Morgan Freeman, but this is... Classic Gamer Reviews.
It was simpler times, the melting pot of video games. There were games where you played as worms, and even games where you played as, I don't know, something. The point being, okay, the motherfucking point being is that the SNES was a melting pot of fresh original ideas which mixed odd elements together. In no way, shape, or form though was this bad, however, because I mean, hey, it usually turned out for the better. But it isn't like that nowadays. Companies are less willing to go out of their comfort zone and try something outside of their popular franchises. In other words, try stuff that is, well, daring. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of current generation games that I like, but for the most part it's like this. Want to make a quick buck? Make another Call of Duty game! Do you want to make a new fighting game? Release the same damn game months later! Oh look, it's another fucking Madden game! Which brings me to a very daring game, Buster Busts Loose for the Super Nintendo, made by the same people who brought you Metal Gear Solid nowadays. While there were a few Metal Gear Solid games before this game came out, it wasn't as established as a franchise as it is now. You see, if Konami announced today, in this day and age, that they were making a game about a rabbit, there'd be a huge fuss in the game community, and PETA would go absolutely apeshit. All joking aside though, I am glad Konami made this game, because Konami's fine and polished work seems to have been a trait that they always have had. Right as you start the game, you're gonna notice something. The speed. Yes, it would seem that the blue rabbit has an uncanny resemblance to the blue hedgehog. Which, by the way, kids, being blue isn't cool because it means you have a rare condition called Igeria.
That's no good.
Konami had previously done another Tiny Toons game for Nintendo, and that bared a great resemblance to Mario 3. But in both cases, drawing inspiration from other franchises isn't bad as long as the game comes out good, and in this case, it did. Because it gave Super Nintendo owners who liked Sonic a similar feeling, but with a rabbit. However, the game still manages to hold off on its own and still provides a fun time. In terms of attacking, you can flip onto enemies or dash into them. While dashing is a great way to kill the enemies if they're lined up, problems arise if you're on a short platform, as stopping isn't really easy to do in this game. Yo man, what's wrong with you? I don't know, I can't stop. Aside from the difficulty of stopping, the rest of the gameplay is a fantastic platformer that really shapes up to be a fun experience. Levels are fun and well built with a very different feel to each one. One minute you're playing a side-scrolling football game, which makes getting hit a lot easier. And then the next minute you're on a train that's falling apart. And all of this is accompanied with a fantastic soundtrack. There's a lot of things to enjoy in this game, from the blatant Stormtrooper ripoffs to the mini-games. I never once was able to tell what would happen next, for better or for worse. What the fuck is there in that for? However, the game isn't perfect. Though not a game-crippling factor, there are some glitches that appear, such as me phasing into this mountain, which makes the already difficult second level even more difficult. The game also tries to shove its story down your throat, but it's no surprise that the story sucks. But, I mean, what do you expect? The game's about rabbits. And it seems that as quickly as the story starts, it ends. It won't really take that long to beat. This really is a short game.
Level 1. You beat the game.
Well, that was short? It's a shame that it's so short though, because I had a lot of fun giving the Taz ripoff diabetes from too much junk food. And playing jump rope with a bunch of Mexicans is an experience I won't soon forget, especially since there's no room for error there. Another thing that I didn't like was one of the minigames featuring the pig. It actually has inverted controls to move this black square, which is beyond stupid. But worst of all, the game is just too short. These shortcomings aren't enough for me to not recommend playing this though. It's a great game about rabbits, made by Konami, the people who made Metal Gear Solid. Yeah, it is kind of weird.
Well, let's see here. I may not be Morgan Freeman, but this is Classic Gamer Reviews.
that for?